Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the softball field here at Milford High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call, and we are very happy to be finally returning to the softball field for just the second time here in 2017. And we have a marquee softball matchup for you this afternoon as the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks prepare to host the defending Division I state champion King Philip Lady Warriors. This, of course, has been a tremendous rivalry between these schools dating back really the last decade plus. These have been two of the standard bearers in terms of excellence in softball in Division I, and they've played many a fascinating matchup between one another. Again, going back to Milford's run up to back-to-back state championships, and of course King Philip with their fair share of state championships in the last decade plus as well, including claiming the Division I state championship just last season. King Philip ended up earning the number 7 seed in the Division I South bracket. It was quite a crowded pool of very talented teams in Division I as usual. So King Philip, despite that number 7 seed, they were able to work their way right through that Division I South bracket, shutout victories against number 10 seed Norwood, number 6 seed Hopkinton, before defeating Milford's other nemesis, Silver Lake, in the championship game, a 5-2 victory that put them on into the Division I state bracket. A win against Lexington in the semifinal round, and then a win in the championship game over Doherty High School out of Worcester. And King Philip was able to finish off a tremendous 2016 campaign with that state championship crown. And so still plenty of talent on this team this year. The one big missing piece from last year's state championship team was the all-star caliber pitcher, Kaylee McGain, who was just lights out for King Philip throughout her high school career. She is gone, but still plenty of pitching talent on this team and a very powerful lineup as well. But Milford has been nothing short of dominant for the bulk of this season. An 11-1 overall record coming into today's action, 8-1 within league play. They are in first place in the Davenport division, and after a little bit of a bumpy start with a tough 4-1 loss against Taunton, Milford has not lost a game since then, and they have been flat out dominating all of their competition. Non-conference games, Hockomock League opponents, it has not mattered. Milford has been bringing tremendous pitching and absolutely lethal offense. They've won their last 11 consecutive games, again, after that opening day loss, and most recently blowout victories back on May 1st, a 12-0 Mercy Rule win against Attleboro, and then against a tough Mansfield team on the road just yesterday. Milford able to come through with a big 11-2 win. They've notched double-digit victories with quite a bit of frequency over the course of the season, and again, the lineup has just been absolutely terrific for Coach DeVito's squad. And you take a look at some of the incredible statistics on this team, you really have to start with Emily Pierre-Gustavo, who just 24 hours ago hit for the cycle in that victory on the road against Mansfield. And Emily comes into today leading the team in the majority of their offensive stats, including batting average, where she brings a .625 batting average into today's activity. And as you see right now, Milford taking the field for infield-outfield drills. This game about 15 minutes or so away from getting started. But Emily Pierre-Gustavo really just one name in a long list of players who have excelled so far this season. Also tremendous offensive contributions out of Shannon Cormier, who settled very nicely into an everyday starting role. She has a .371 batting average coming into action today. We'll go through a lot of these stats for Milford throughout the process of this game here today, as again, both of these teams have a lot of talent, have a lot of athleticism, and both teams are expected to go very far in the 2017 MIAA tournament. For Milford, they've been doing the bulk of their work on the road. We've chronicled that quite a bit if you've been tuning into the Milford Informer each week for our sports recaps. Milford, this is just their 4th home game so far on the 2017 season. Remarkable as we are past the halfway point in the season, and Milford has only had the opportunity to play on their home field 3 previous times before today. They, of course, lost a home game back in the season opener. They were supposed to play Taunton here at the Milford softball field, but unfortunately, with a lot of late winter snow and a lot of rain mixed in as well in the end of March into the beginning of April, the Milford softball field was under a lot of water through those first couple of weeks of the season, so that forced Milford to give up that home game playing on the road at Taunton for the season opener, which ended up going as a 4-1 loss. So I'm sure this team has it in the back of their mind wondering what might have been had that game been played here in Milford as scheduled instead of on the road against Taunton. But still, they were able to bounce back nicely. They have not lost a game since riding that 11-game winning streak into play here today. The only other home games they've had on their schedule was back on April 10th, a 10-2 win against Stoughton. And then also a couple of weeks ago, in the only other softball action we've been able to cover so far this season, on April 14th, Milford with a 5-2 win against a tough playoff-proven Grafton team. And then also Milford notching that mercy rule victory against Attleboro earlier this week back on May 1st. So those are the only home games Milford has played. They will have a handful of home games remaining on their schedule after today. Still 5 home games coming up, with matchups against Sharon, Canton, Foxborough, and then their final home game of the season should be a good one, a rematch against North Attleboro. Always a good matchup between the Lady Hawks and the North Attleboro Lady Rocketeers. Of course, that's another team Milford overwhelmed with their offense earlier on the season, now playing North Attleboro twice, as they are now a Davenport Division opponent. And Milford defeating North Attleboro back on April the 24th at North by a final score of 14-3. It's been part of just again, we run out of superlatives to talk about this team with how they've been able to hit, how they've been able to pitch. And, of course, that pitching staff features 2 of the more dominant arms in the Hockomock League, in Allie Atherton and Kelly Reichert. Both girls have been factoring heavily so far this season. We will see Allie Atherton in the pitcher circle this afternoon, who brings a sub-2 ERA to the game this afternoon. So very excited to bring this one to you. We'll get to the starting lineups now as the 2 teams continue to get ready for softball. Milford continues their infield and outfield drills. So starting lineups coming at you first. The visitors, the King Philip Lady Warriors. Leading it off is the shortstop Megan Gorman. The second baseman Ashley McCaslin bats second, with the starting pitcher Jen Hutnian batting third. Betsy Walsh is the cleanup hitter. She is the designated player, with Elise Pereira, the first baseman, batting fifth. Jess Bonner plays third base and bats sixth, with Brooke Toddy, the left fielder, batting seventh. Nicole Carter, the right fielder, bats eighth, and in the ninth spot is the center fielder, Sydney Phillips. One player flexed out of the lineup for King Philip. That is their catcher, Brianna Lacey. She will only be playing defensively this afternoon. So there is your starting lineup for King Philip. And for the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks, their lineup looks like this. Kate Irwin leads it off in center field, with Emily Pierre Gustavo in her red-hot bat, batting second and playing shortstop. Jess Tomaso bats third and is at first base, with Caitlin DeCapua, the cleanup hitter, playing third base. Maggie Farrell back in the starting lineup after missing a half-dozen games with an ankle injury, but healthy again. She bats fifth and plays left field. Emily Hartman, the catcher, bats sixth. Kelly Reichert in the lineup as the designated player, batting seventh. And Maddie Bonvino bats eighth and plays second base, with Shannon Cormier batting ninth and playing right field. And we mentioned the offensive prowess that Shannon Cormier has had so far this season. So when you have a batter of Shannon's caliber in the ninth spot in your lineup, you know there are not too many holes. So Jen Hutnian with her work cut out for her in the circle for King Philip. She will be taking over pitching duties for King Philip. Again, Kaylee McGain no longer a factor on this Lady Warriors squad, but certainly went out with a flourish, leading that team to a state championship last season, now pitching for Boston University. But Jen Hutnian will be the pitcher getting the start for King Philip, and she will be opposed by Allie Atherton. So both of these teams just moments away from getting this game started, so we will pause very briefly. We will have the first pitch. It is the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks taking on the King Philip Lady Warriors, one of the top softball rivalries in the state, and we will have it for you next here on Milford TV. Right back inside the Milford softball field. It is time to get this game underway. The Lady Hawks have taken the field. Milford and King Philip about to clash in a Davenport versus Kelly Rex division showdown within the Hockomock League. And Allie Atherton right now warming up in the pitcher circle. Allie continuing to excel here in her senior season. Of course, now a captain, one of 3 senior captains on this year's Lady Hawk squad, and the numbers all across the board are superb for Allie Atherton. She comes into today's action. This will now be her 9th game in which she has appeared in the circle. This will be her 8th start, and she comes in with a record of 6-1. She's thrown 42 innings so far on the season. She's allowed just 28 hits, only 13 runs. Just 7 of those have been earned. She's walked only 8 while striking out 42. She comes in with an ERA of 1.17, so among one of the stingiest ERAs in the Hawk. And her warm-up toss has come to a conclusion. A few final words amongst the infield. That conversation being led by Allie Atherton, along with her fellow captain Caitlin DeCapua. Maggie Farrell, the third captain for this team in the outfield. Happy to see Maggie back in the lineup. She missed the game we covered against Grafton due to that ankle injury. Coach DeVito saying she missed about 6 games due to that issue, but now fully healthy and starting in left field this afternoon. And we are set to go now as the leadoff batter for King Philip. Megan Gorman steps in on the right side. And now the umpire asking that a gate be closed along the left field line before we officially get started. And now it looks like we should be set to go. A playoff-like atmosphere here in Milford once again with 2 premier opponents. The first pitch on the way, and it's a called strike 1. Milford has not defeated King Philip in the Coach Steve DeVito era. KP has been able to win the last 3 matchups against the Lady Hawks. The last time Milford earned a victory against one of their chief rivals here in King Philip was back in 2013. Of course, the year Milford won their second of back-to-back state championships. Here comes a 1-1 pitch, and this ball is lined out to left center field. And the catch is made out there. A very nice play. Maggie Farrell able to make that catch. It was a crowded infield, partially blocking our view here behind the backstop, but Maggie Farrell able to step into the gap to make a nice catch to get this game started. Good solid contact for Gorman, but she is out number 1. We saw Maggie Farrell play a lot of right field, a little bit of center field in previous seasons, but getting the start in left here this afternoon. 1 out now as first pitch swinging. This ball is floated out into left for a hit. Haley McCaslin with kind of a half slash at that ball, but was able to quickly get it over the head of Pierre Gustavo at shortstop. So McCaslin is on with a 1-out single. A runner aboard now for the KP starting pitcher, Jen Hutnian, taking over the reins as the starting pitcher from Kaylee McGain and doing quite well for herself. She was able to get a handful of starts in and a lot of relief appearances as well, while McGain was the primary starter. King Philip coming into today with an overall record of 9-2, but they are undefeated against Hockomock League opponents, 8-0 in the Hawks so far. Right now in second place in the Kelly Rec standings behind Taunton, who is 10-2. It's a 2-ball, no-strike count to Hutnian as there is plenty of chatter coming out of the King Philip dugout along the first base side as this ball is hit in the air out to left. But settling underneath is Farrell. She makes the catch. A lot of activity out in left field to start this game. 2 of the balls have gone for outs. McCaslin remains at first base with 2 down, and now the designated player Betsy Walsh looking to keep the inning going. She digs in now on the right side. The windup and the pitch from Atherton, and that's in for a called strike. Atherton staring back into her battery mate, Emily Hartman. The 2 have worked well together. Emily really settling in seamlessly behind the plate. Milford with such a great legacy of quality catchers. You think back a couple of years to Taylor LeBrun. Last season, Megan Jakes taking over as the full-time catcher, and now Emily Hartman in just her sophomore season continuing a high standard of play. Here's the 1-ball, 1-strike pitch. It's a wave and a miss. The runner takes off for second. The throw pops in and out of the mitt of Pierre Gustavo. Would not have had a chance to get the tag down. It was a good jump. A courtesy runner out there for Haley McCaslin. McCaslin running for herself. Uniform number, it's momentarily out of my vision, but Number 11, McCaslin now at second base. She gets the steal, and now a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Betsy Walsh. Batting now with a runner in scoring position as the first base dugout continues to roar. The KP bench in this game right from the first pitch. Here's the 2-2. And did she go around? Yes, she did. That'll go as strike 3. Betsy Walsh down by way of the K, and that will end things here in the top of the first. So King Philip strands a runner in scoring position. They are not able to push a run across, so we will head to the bottom of the first inning in this scoreless game. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks will take their first swings of the afternoon when we come back next here on Milford TV. Jen Hutnian now on the mound, or in the circle, I should say, for the King Philip Lady Warriors, set to face the top of the Milford lineup, Irwin, Pierre Gustavo, and Tommaso. As a stiff breeze blows across the softball field, Irwin first pitch swinging, grounds it right back into the glove of Hutnian, and a quick throw to first base gets there in time. One pitch, and Irwin is retired. 1-3 on the ground out. And that will bring up the absolutely white-hot Emily Pierre Gustavo, batting .625. She also leads the team in runs scored, in hits, triples, home runs, RBI, and walks. As we said, virtually leading in every offensive category. She's scored 23 runs so far on the season. She has 25 hits. She has 4 doubles, 4 triples, 4 home runs, and 19 runs batted in. Just otherworldly numbers out of the junior. Facing a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Here's the pitch. And off speed and just outside for ball 2. Bright sunny conditions here at the Milford softball field. There's a little bit of a breeze cooling things off a bit, but temperatures were in the upper 60s when this one got started. Hard ground ball foul wide of third base brings the count to 2-2. Now it is the third base dugout alive with cheers. Hutnian ready with the 2-2 pitch. And that one floated just high and outside. That runs the count full to Pierre Gustavo with Jess Tommaso waiting on deck. A couple of shakeoffs for Hutnian, now ready with the payoff pitch, and it's in the dirt for ball 4. So Pierre Gustavo will work her 12th walk. Aboard at first now for Tommaso, and you have to wonder if Hutnian was pitching with great care to arguably the hottest hitter in all of the Hockomock League. Pierre Gustavo now at first. And another tough bat at the plate now in Tommaso. Jess comes into this afternoon with a .413 batting average. She has 16 runs batted in. She's blasted a pair of home runs. And now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. King Philip head coach Norm Buschemin carefully looking on from the dugout. Head coach Steve DeVito off the third base side as this ball is popped up towards first. And an easy catch for Elise Pereira for out number 2. The defensive alignment for King Philip, Brianna Lacey only playing defensively. She's catching with Jess Bonner at third, Megan Gorman at short, Haley McCastelland at second, and Elise Pereira at first. Left to right in the outfield, Brooke Toddy, Sydney Phillips, and Nicole Carter. 2 outs now in the inning as the first pitch into DeCapua sinks too low. Caitlin DeCapua with an even .400 batting average. She's also in double digits and runs batted in with 14. As she skies this pitch out to shallow left, it's the shortstop who will head out to the outfield grass. Megan Gorman makes the catch, and that will conclude things in the bottom half of the first inning. Milford also strands a base runner. We do not see a run cross the plate in the first inning. We'll head to the second, scoreless between Milford and King Philip here on Milford TV. Allie Atherton back out in the circle for her second inning of work, facing batters 5, 6, and 7. Elise Pereira, the first baseman, leads it off and takes a fastball outside. The lone hit so far in the game on the King Philip side, as Atherton will fall behind 2 balls and no strikes. The breeze continues to come in pretty strong in towards the plate. A 2-0 pitch now upcoming from Atherton, and this one fouled away, glancing off of the backstop. King Philip has really had Milford's number in previous years. In 2 out of their last 3 matchups, the result has been a 12-0 Mercy Rule loss for Milford. Most recently coming last season as part of a tough stretch for Milford in their 2016 season, where they ended up going 2-3 against a series of tough opponents. It was 3 of their 4 losses in total on the season last year, one of them coming at King Philip by that 12-0 margin. So they're looking to break out against this tough opponent. Here comes a 3-1 pitch. It's popped straight up. Hartman gives it a look, but it's over the backstop and out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the first King Philip batter of the second inning. Atherton taking some time in between pitches, now ready to go. She winds and fires, and that's low for ball 4. Pereira working a leadoff walk, the second King Philip base runner. And that will bring up Jess Bonner, the third baseman. This is a junior heavy team for King Philip. Showing bunt on the first pitch was Bonner. She takes it for a called strike. Bonner, one of those juniors. Total of 9 juniors on the varsity squad. Just 3 seniors. Again, we'll see a strike. They'll say she offered. Again, trying to get the bunt down, and Bonner is in an 0-2 hole. She bats with Elise Pereira at first base and nobody out in the top of the second.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, if you want to ask him a question about me. Oh, okay. Your beard?
Atherton ready for another pitch, and it's swung on and missed. A quick 3-pitch strikeout as Bonner was overmatched that time. So that brings the first out, and now the number 7 batter, Brooke Toddy, to the plate. A right-handed heavy lineup for Coach Boscheman. Atherton's first pitch of the at-bat. It's a called strike. The throw down to second base. Again, Pierre Gustavo couldn't secure it in the glove. It would have been a bang-bang play. The throw tailed a little bit towards the shortstop side of the second base bag. And so Pereira is in with the second KP stolen base in as many innings. So again, the Lady Warriors will bat with a runner in scoring position. It's a no-ball, 1-strike count on Todi. Here's the pitch. And that is just low, a very close pitch, narrowly missing that bottom part of the strike zone. Again, Atherton back atop the pitching rubber. She winds and fires, and that's in for a strike. Burying that one right on the lower inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now that one too low. Toddy not giving chase. Defensively for Milford, it is Emily Hartman behind the plate, Caitlin DeCapua at third, Emily Pierre-Gustavo at short, Maddie Bonvino at second, and Jess Tomaso at first. Left to right in the outfield, Maggie Farrell, Kate Irwin, and Shannon Cormier. Here's the pitch. It's sent in the air out to left field again towards the gap, but Farrell on the run is able to make the catch. Quick throw back in, keeps Pereira at second now with 2 outs. So now with 2 down, we'll see Nicole Carter, the right fielder. Atherton hoping to strand a runner at second for the second straight inning. And delivers a pitch that buzzes the inside corner for strike 1. Painting that inside edge. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. In for a called strike 2, and Atherton now 1 pitch away from ending the inning. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Elise Pereira, the lone runner at second base. Here is the pitch, and it's too low. Trying to get Carter to chase, but she holds up. Atherton again ready, now with a 1-2 pitch. And this is a sinking line drive. It's trouble out into left. It's down for a hit, rounding third base, and now holding as the ball briefly gets away from the catcher, Emily Hartman. They were initially waving Pereira, but a quick throw in from Farrell led to a late stop sign. And even though that ball briefly got away from Hartman, they did not chance bringing the runner to the plate, so it goes as a single for Carter. With Pereira holding up at third base, so that puts runners at the corners for the number 9 hitter, Sydney Phillips. King Phillip hoping for a 2-out rally. Atherton hoping to bring an end to the inning. Delivers that pitch a little bit inside. The runner at first base taking off. Hartman bluffing the throw as she kept her eyes on Pereira at third base. So that now puts 2 in scoring position and a 1-ball, no strike count on Phillips. Here's the next pitch, and it's hit in the air behind third base. Caitlin DeCapua looks it into the glove, and she gets the out that ends the inning. So King Phillip threatens with a pair of base runners, but they fail to score. And we will head to the bottom half of the second inning, still scoreless between King Phillip and your Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks here on Milford TV. Maggie Farrell, Emily Hartman, and Kelly Reichert, the 3 batters due up against Jen Hutnian in the bottom of the second. And Farrell looks at a first pitch strike on the outside part of the plate. This is Maggie's 7th game on the season, again after missing 6 games with an ankle injury earlier in the year. She grounds a pitch foul to fall behind no balls and 2 strikes, but Farrell batting .391 so far on the season. She has 9 hits. 6 of them have gone for extra bases, including a home run. Lays off that outside pitch to bring the count to 1-2. Farrell with 6 runs batted in. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. Here's the next pitch, and this is a liner out to center field. A diving attempt for Sydney Phillips, but she can't secure it in the glove, and it will go as a leadoff base hit for Farrell. A solid effort from Phillips, who went into the forward dive. Got it just at the very tip of the glove, but couldn't squeeze it. That will go as a base hit. And so the leadoff runner on with now Emily Hartman at the plate. And the sophomore swings at the first pitch, pops it up foul. And that is out of play. Emily Hartman with 3 long balls on the season. Carries a .341 batting average. And even 10 runs batted in. And sends a high drive out to left field, back towards the fence. And that is a fair ball. It then ticks off the field. That one going behind the outfield fence. And so it will go as a ground rule double. And we'll see an immediate courtesy runner pop out for Hartman as Antonia Bonina will take over at second base. So that will go as a double for Hartman. Back-to-back hits now for Milford, who have 2 in scoring position. And a big opportunity for Kelly Reichert. Coach DeVito unleashing Kelly Reichert in the batting order this season. And she has responded, a .359 batting average and 16 runs batted in for Kelly Reichert. She has 2 in scoring position here as she takes a big cut at that first pitch and misses for strike 1. Reichert with eyes perhaps on a 3-run home run. She does have 2 homers on the year. And now another big swing and a miss, and she is behind in the count, 0-2. Kelly a little amped up in this RBI situation. Settles back into the right side batter's box, about to see an 0-2 pitch from Hutnian, and it's floated outside. One ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, and a pair in scoring position. Here's the pitch, and it's a tapper, just foul down the first base line. A lot of the fans surrounding home plate cheering on the junior Kelly Reichert. Fans continuing to filter in around the softball field. Here's the 1-2, and it's in the air, foul, out of play. A lot of students collecting in the bleachers just to the left of the first base dugout. That seems to be the designated student section for games. Another 1-2 pitch, and it's tapped down the third base line, foul. Maddie Bonvino popping up from the on-deck area to hand the bat back to Reichert, putting on a lengthy at-bat against Jen Hutnian. Another 1-2 offering. It's grounded back to the mound, sneaks under the glove of Hutnian. She'll throw to first. She gets the out there, but in the back door from third comes Farrell with the first run of the game, and the Milford Ladies Scarlet Hawks take a 1-0 lead. That has to feel good for Milford, as again they had failed to score in each of their previous 3 meetings against King Philip. But they will not be shut out here today. They grab the first run. And an RBI for Reichert on the ground out that went 6-3. The lone runner now is Antonia Bonina at third. For Maddie Bonvino at the plate. And Bonvino taps it foul. That brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Maddie Bonvino with one of the top batting averages on the team at .412. She has 3 doubles, a triple, a home run, and 7 runs batted in. That pitch getting up and over the swing of Bonvino, bringing the count to 1-2. Here's a 1-2 pitch, and this is a drive out to left field into foul ground, and it will land harmlessly foul. Brooke Toddy over to pick up that foul ball to send it back into play. It stays a 1-ball, 2-strike count as Milford has been driving up the pitch count of Hutnian over these last 2 at-bats. And now that pitch high to even the count at 2. Now the next pitch, a tapper sent to third that freezes Bonina. They now throw to first, and they get it there just in time, just beating Bonvino by a running step. A big out for King Philip as Bonina had to hold at third as that ball was hit right in her direction. So Bonvino gone on the 5-3 ground out, and that leaves the inning in the very capable hands of Shannon Cormier. She swings at the first pitch, lines it down the left field side, but it is a foul ball.
Because I was watching behind the scenes doing films, and they zoomed in like on a guy, on a cameraman.
Shannon Cormier had a very successful week last week and comes into today with a .371 batting average. Takes a hack at this pitch, grounds it slowly to shortstop. Cormier hustling down the line, she is safe, and Bonina crosses the plate with the second Milford run. That was slow developing, and Cormier hustling down that first base line. She beats it out for an infield single, and Milford able to take now a 2-0 lead. And we'll go back to the top spot in the lineup for Kate Irwin, but first a conference developing in the pitcher circle. Every run critical in these matchups. A 2 spot so far in this bottom of the second inning, but the frame continues now for Kate Irwin, who grounded out first pitch swinging to the pitcher her first time up. Shannon Cormier breaking for second base, and the throw from Lacey bounced in there. So Cormier in safely with a steal. A 1-0 pitch to Irwin, she sends it foul. That's Cormier's second stolen base of the season. The batter at the plate, Kate Irwin, of course, leading in that category with 6 steals. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A tapper again back to the mound. Hutnian has it and sends it over towards first base for the out that retires the side, but not before Milford gets RBIs from Kelly Reichert and Shannon Cormier. And Milford takes a 2-0 lead on King Philip as we will head to the third inning next here on Milford TV. Allie Atherton now has a 2-run lead to work with as she will go second time through the King Philip batting order. It's Gorman, McCaslin, and Hutnian, the 3 expected in the inning. KP has grabbed a pair of hits along with a walk against Atherton through the first 2 innings, but they've left all 3 of those base runners on. Now Atherton's first pitch of the inning is popped up on the right side of the infield. It's Tommaso who takes charge. She makes the catch. And with 1 pitch, Atherton records the first out of the top of the third. Gorman now 0 for 2, and now Haley McCaslin up there. She singled in the top of the first inning, then stole second base, but was stranded there. The windup and the pitch from Atherton. That just misses outside. The only losses King Philip has suffered on the season has been against non-conference opponents. And now a swinging bunt attempt for McCaslin. She offers at it and misses. KP ended up losing back-to-back games on April 13th and April 18th. A 7-5 loss to Bishop Feehan, followed by a 1-0 loss to Newton North. They were able to bounce back the following day with a non-conference win against Walpole, and they have not lost a game since then. They come in riding a 6-game winning streak. Milford, of course, coming in riding an 11-game win streak. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count now on McCaskland. And now another narrow miss on the outside part of the plate, a 3-ball, 1-strike count. The lefty bat of Haley McCaslin ready. Atherton and Hartman now on the same page. Here's the pitch. It's a tapper to shortstop, scooped up quickly by Pierre Gustavo, and she rifles the throw to first base. What a quick release out of the hand of Pierre Gustavo to get the out. Emily Pierre Gustavo taking over as the full-time starting shortstop this season after Jill Powers held down the position for her varsity career, but Pierre Gustavo playing well anywhere you put her on the diamond. She played second base for her first 2 seasons, and now taking over at shortstop and playing extremely well defensively as well as offensively. Jen Hutnian at the plate with the bases empty and 2 down, taking the first pitch for a ball. Now swings at this pitch and drives it high in the air out to left field, but not deep. And it settles into the glove of Maggie Farrell, and it ends up going as an easy 1-2-3 top of the 3rd inning for Atherton. And we'll head to the home half of the inning next. It is still 2-0 Milford over KP here on Milford TV. Bottom of the 3rd inning gets started with a pitch outside to Emily Pierre Gustavo. Pierre Gustavo walking her first time up, was stranded on the bases. And another soft one misses up and away, 2 balls and no strikes. And so far it has seemed like Jen Hutnian has not been inclined to groove anything to Pierre Gustavo, as now Emily swings away at this one and sends it far and foul beyond the beyond the left side. A 2-ball, 1-strike count. Here's the pitch, and it's down and in. Pierre Gustavo came into today tied for the lead in walks with Maddie Bonvino. Walking for the 12th time in the first inning, and she will walk for the 13th time on the season here. Back-to-back plate appearances with a walk so far here this afternoon. And for the 2nd straight inning, Milford will have the leadoff runner on. Brianna Lacey out for a couple of words with her pitcher before the at-bat begins against Tommaso. Jess popped out to first base back in the 1st inning. And takes the first pitch here low. Jess slugging .717 on the season. And of course, you certainly have to credit Coach DeVito, Coach Tim Walsh, and the entire staff of the Milford softball team for having in-depth stats available on the team's website. Makes it very easy to follow along with the progress of all of these players, and there have certainly been a lot of stats to update throughout these games with all of the offensive numbers Milford has put up right from the beginning of the season. As Tommaso ends up working the walk, back-to-back walks to open this 3rd inning. That pushes Pierre Gustavo into scoring position at second base. And now here's Caitlin DeCapua, who popped out to shortstop to end the first inning. She swings at the first pitch and sends it in the air out to center field. And now underneath to make the catch is Sydney Phillips. Quick throw sent back in, the runners retreat. As DeCapua is out, the first out in the bottom of the third. And now here is Maggie Farrell, and if there is one thing we have chronicled about Maggie Farrell throughout her high school career, it is her flair for the dramatic. She has come through with clutch hits in many of Milford's biggest games. Swings at the first pitch here and sends it foul right over in the direction of Milford TV Executive Director Rob O'Keefe, manning the action camera here this afternoon. A tremendous Milford TV crew covering this big softball matchup here at the Milford softball field. Here's an 0-1 pitch now to Farrell. It skips low and away, and a nice job out of Brianna Lacey to keep that ball in front of her. It evens the count at 1. Pierre Gustavo, the lead runner at second, with Tommaso at first. And Farrell now jumps ahead in the count, 2-1. Maggie singled and scored her first time up. And now takes a pitch high. The runners take off. The throw down to third, and Pierre Gustavo is out. Milford trying to catch KP by surprise with the double steal, but a great throw from Brianna Lacey results in the caught stealing. So there are now 2 outs in the inning, and Tommaso now the lone runner at second as Farrell grounds one to to second base. McCaslin to Pereira for the out that ends the inning. So Milford running themselves out of a potential rally here in the third. They do not score, but they continue to lead by a margin of 2-0 as we will head to the fourth inning next. You're enjoying coverage of Milford High School softball right here on Milford TV. Allie Atherton enjoying her best inning so far of the game, a 1-2-3 third inning. Looking to build on that as she will face Betsy Walsh, Elise Pereira, and Jess Bonner in the top of the fourth. Tim Coet here on the call as we bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV. Milford so far with 2 runs on 3 hits. King Philip, no runs on 2 hits. Error-free softball so far in this one. And a quick conference breaking up before Betsy Walsh steps in for her second at-bat of the afternoon. She struck out swinging to end the first inning, stranding a runner in scoring position. And Atherton now set to get this inning started and gets a ground ball right back into her glove, fires to Tommaso, and a nice quick out. Betsy Walsh now 0 for 2. Out goes 1-3. And now here is Elise Pereira, who walked to lead off the second inning, then stole second. Advanced to third on a single by Nicole Carter. KP not wanting to make the final out of the inning at the plate, so they elected to hold Pereira at third. And Milford was ultimately able to escape the inning, keeping Pereira there. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's grounded to the left side. DeCapua has it. She throws to first base to get the out. Only 3 pitches needed to get the first 2 outs of this 4th inning. And Atherton now will deal with Jess Bonner, the third baseman. She was a strikeout victim her first time up. Atherton with 2 Ks so far in her outing. And this ball hit just past the dive of DeCapo at third base. And Bonner will reach on the 2-out base hit. So that breaks up a string of 6 batters in a row retired by Atherton. And it gives Brooke Toddy a chance. She flew out to left field her first time up. Settling in on the right side. With Bonner at first, here's the pitch. Right in there for a called strike 1. Atherton, as we mentioned earlier, came into today with 42 strikeouts. You can make it 44 now on the season. Here's the 0-1, and that's a called strike 2. Painting the outside part of the plate, and now Atherton 1 strike away from shutting down this top of the 4th. No balls and 2 strikes. Atherton with the windup and the pitch, and right off the end of the bat, it's cued to shortstop. Pierre Gustavo plays it cleanly and gets the throw to Tommaso in time for the final out of this top of the 4th inning. Another hit for King Philip, but no runs scored. On to the bottom of the 4th inning we go. It is Milford 2 and King Philip nothing on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Sophomore catcher Emily Hartman will lead things off in the bottom of the 4th against Jen Hutnian. And Hartman takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. Emily in her first at-bat drilled a ball out to deep left field. It took a bounce off the playing surface, going for a ground rule double. Hartman was then lifted for a courtesy runner, Antonia Bonina, who eventually came around to score on the infield hit by Shannon Cormier. That is what made it a 2-0 game here. Hartman flares one to shortstop, and Megan Gorman makes the catch. Hartman retired this time. One out now for Kelly Reichert, who has the other run batted in the game. It came on a ground out. And a big swing and a miss. Reichert has not gotten cheated on some of these swings this afternoon. Reichert has a total of 4 extra base hits on the season, a pair of doubles to go along with her 2 home runs. And 16 runs batted in for Kelly Reichert, too, which tied her with Jess Tommaso for the second most on the team coming into today. Emily Pierre Gustavo leading with 19 runs batted in here. Reichert strikes out swinging. She's 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. And 2 quick outs now for Hutnian. She allowed those 2 runs in the second inning and then allowed back-to-back walks last inning to start off the frame, but Milford unable to score, and now Hutnian has bounced back to retire the last 4 batters she's faced. This one cued foul, pops off the backstop. As Maddie Bonvino looks to extend the inning, Maddie grounded out to third base in her first at-bat. That came in the second inning. She is down here, no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Got on top of that one and lined it hard, but foul down the left field line.
We'll charge the batteries, but tomorrow we'll recreate the starter setup in the conference room. Yeah, that's a good idea. It might just be the electricity. Yeah, that's right.
The count remains 0-2. Here's the next pitch, and again, it is fouled to the backstop. Should the inning continue, Shannon Cormier would be next up. But first, another 0-2 pitch, and it's floated over towards the left side, and no chance to get the speed of Maddie Bonvino at first. It's a sinking line drive that dropped in between Bonner at third and Gorman at short. Just a moment of indecision as to who was going to go after that ball. Gorman ultimately played it, but her throw to first base was well late. And Bonvino reaches on the infield single. It's the fourth Milford hit of the game, and now quickly Cormier swings at the first pitch, sends it to shortstop, but this time Gorman able to make the catch, and that will be the third out here in the fourth inning. So Milford strands another base runner. We will head to the top half of the fifth inning. This game moving right along, and Milford out in front by a score of 2-0 on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Nicole Carter, Sydney Phillips, and Megan Gorman, batters 8, 9, and 1, will come to the plate as we have reached the fifth inning. This game about 50 minutes old. And Milford with the 2-0 advantage. Allie Atherton has scattered 3 hits so far. She's walked 1 and struck out 2. Delivers a called strike 1 into Nicole Carter, who has one of those 3 King Philip hits. It came back in the second inning. Now an 0-1 pitch, and that's in for a called strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to the first KP hitter in the fifth. Atherton winds and fires, delivers that one outside, trying to get Carter to expand the strike zone. So now the count goes to 1-2. That hit from Carter back in the second came close to driving in the first run of the game. Now faces a 1-2 pitch, and that dips a little bit too far inside. She's worked the count back to even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The KP bench has remained engaged throughout this entire game, cheering on Carter here as she's about to see a 2-2 pitch, and golfs it foul, kicking off the left side of the backstop. Still a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Bit of a hazy sky here in Milford, the sun trying to poke its way through. Here's that 2-2 pitch, and it's sent out to left. It's down for a hit. Over the outstretched glove of DeCapua. And so Nicole Carter now 2 for 2. And a tough at bat after quickly falling behind. No balls and 2 strikes. She was able to foul off a couple. She laid off some close pitches and ultimately gets rewarded with a leadoff base hit. So now the hit column even between these two teams. Sydney Phillips now the batter at the plate. She popped out to third base to end that second inning rally with no runs allowed. Here she swings at the first pitch, sends it into the gap, out into left center field, and a sliding catch made by Kate Irwin. Speed on the base paths and speed in the outfield for Irwin. Racing into the gap, going into the knee slide, and making a terrific catch. Forces Carter back to first base with now 1 down. Kate Irwin, such an impressive athlete, coming off of a superb junior season on the Lady Hawks basketball team, and now picking right back up where she left off last season here on the softball field. Getting plenty of college attention, and deservedly so. Meanwhile, a 1-ball, no-strike count to Megan Gorman as we now go third time through the KP lineup. She shows bunt, takes a strike. The throw is not good from Emily Hartman. It drifts out into shallow center, backed up there by Irwin. Carter steals second base. King Philip has been very active on the base paths as now they have stolen 3 bags. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count on the shortstop, Megan Gorman. She is 0 for 2. Grounds one to shortstop. The runner will take off for third. She'll get there as the throw from Pierre Gustavo goes through to Tommaso. Carter crossing right in front of Pierre Gustavo. Thought perhaps Emily might try to swipe the tag across, but instead kept her focus on the runner towards first and gets the out there. So Gorman grounds out 6-3. But for the second time in the game, KP gets a runner to third base. They have the tying run at the plate with 2 outs in the 5th. Haley McCastland up on the left side and takes a pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. McCastland 1 for 2. Atherton's pitch. It's a tapper foul. That got a piece of either Hartman or the home plate umpire. And it may have been the umpire who got a piece of that foul ball as now Hartman heads out to the pitcher's circle. Common courtesy in those kind of situations. That foul ball brings the count to 0-2 on McCastland. King Philip has stranded 4 runners on through the first 4+ innings. They have Carter at third base. Atherton surveying her defense before stepping back into the center of the circle. Ready now with her 0-2 pitch. And it is swung on and missed for strike 3. Atherton gets her 3rd strikeout of the game. And once again, King Philip strands a runner on. 5 runners left on the bases through the first 5 innings. And we will now enter into the bottom of the 5th inning. It is still Milford 2 and King Philip 0 on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Kate Irwin with a highlight reel caliber catch in the top half of this 5th inning. She now leads off the bottom. Irwin, Pierre Gustavo, and Tommaso, the top of the Milford lineup, due up. Jen Hutnian remains in the circle. So far through 4 innings, Hutnian has allowed a pair of runs on 4 hits. She's walked 3, has 1 strikeout as Irwin lifts this ball out to left center field. And it is Sydney Phillips, the center fielder, who makes the grab. Irwin lifting that ball, the catch made, and Kate now 0 for 3. She came in with the 2nd highest batting average on the team at .419. And now the first pitch up and away to Emily Pierre Gustavo. She has not seen anything worth swinging at so far this afternoon. She walked in the 1st inning, walked again in the 3rd. And we'll jump ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Hutnian ready with another, and she floats that one well high, and These at-bats have had the feeling of the unintentional, intentional walk each time Emily has come to the plate. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and that's inside. No, it grabs a piece of the plate, says the home plate umpire, and the at-bat will continue. Pierre Gustavo ready to discard the bat, but now digs back in with a count of 3-1. Now swings at this one and sends it in the air foul and out of play off the right side. So now a full count to Pierre Gustavo, and we'll see how Hutnian approaches this next pitch. Here it comes, and it's in the dirt for ball 4. So there is the third walk for Pierre Gustavo this afternoon. Milford has had base runners in every inning so far, with Pierre Gustavo at first and 1 out. Here's the first pitch to Tommaso. It's on the outside corner for strike 1. Tommaso popped out to first base her first time up, then walked as part of back-to-back walks to lead off the third inning. It looked like Milford was going to extend their lead. They ran into an out on the bases and ultimately failed to score. Tommaso now down in the count, 0-2. The Milford bench active. Here's the pitch. It's a bouncer right back into the glove of Hutnian. She throws to second, but the ball ends up out of the glove of the shortstop, and everyone will be safe. Hutnian trying to cut down the lead runner. It was a decent throw. The ball popped out of the glove of Gorman. And so that should go as an E6. Really hard to give the error to the pitcher. The throw might have tailed just a bit to the shortstop side, but it was playable. So there's your first error, and now this ball is grounded through the left side for a base hit. Pierre Gustavo touches third, now comes to the plate. She will score as the runners advance. An RBI on the hit for DeCapua, and that extends the Milford lead to 3-0. So Pierre Gustavo scores. The throw came in front of the plate. And then nothing Brianna Lacey could do but watch as Tommaso advanced from first to third, and DeCapua ended up at second base. And now here's Maggie Farrell, who rips the ball right to shortstop. The catch made there by Gorman. Quick reflexes as that ball was scalded off the bat. Those at-bats happening in rapid-fire succession. So there are now 2 outs in the inning as Hartman comes to the plate. Tommaso is the runner at third with DeCapua at second. DeCapua driving in the third Milford run on a single, took second on the throw. And now Hartman swinging over that pitch to bring the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Hartman 1 for 2. And now pops this pitch up out into shallow left field. Now a step into foul territory. It's the shortstop Gorman who makes the catch for the out. That ends the inning. Milford able to grab an additional run on the RBI single for DeCapua, and they now take a 3-0 lead as we will head to the 6th inning next on this coverage of Milford High School softball on Milford TV. 3 runs, 5 hits, and no errors now for Milford. No runs, 4 hits with 1 error for King Philip. Now set to begin the top half of the 6th inning. It'll be the middle of the order bats coming up for the Warriors. Jen Hutnian, Betsy Walsh, and Elise Pereira against Allie Atherton. Allie ready to get the inning started. And on the first pitch, this ball popped up behind the plate. And that just sneaks up over the backstop. Coming close to our broadcast setup for our first pitch strike. Hutnian has done the same thing twice so far this afternoon. That is fly out to left field. Atherton's 0-1 pitch is high. These are two softball teams that just seem to do everything right, and that includes the bench showing endless support for their teammates. As now this ball is driven deep out to left field. It glances right off the top of the fence, just barely stays on the playing surface. And that will end up going as a very long single for Hutnian and about an inch or two higher. And that would have cleared the fence for a solo home run, but instead, Hutnian holding up at first base. That just kept carrying. And we'll have a courtesy runner now at first base for Hutnian. Marjorie Guerrera now at first base running for the KP starting pitcher. And meanwhile at the plate, Betsy Walsh working on an 0 for 2 day. Chokes up on the bat, fakes the bunt. Now the throw down to second base is not in time. Another stolen base, this one for Guerrera. The courtesy runner now in scoring position with nobody out. There have not been many easy innings for Allie Atherton this afternoon. Her only 1-2-3 inning came back in the third. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a tapper towards the left side. Pierre Gustavo has it go in and out of the glove, but now the runner caught off the second base bag, but she's able to dive back in. A near base running blunder for King Philip, but Guerrera just able to scamper back to the bag. Pierre Gustavo, instead of trying to make the tag herself after she initially swiped the tag, lobbed a throw to second base, and that gave enough time for Guerrera to just get back in safely. And meanwhile, Walsh reaches on what should be an E6. As Pierre Gustavo couldn't make the play cleanly to make the throw to first, so there's the first Milford error. And that brings Coach DeVito out of the dugout to talk things over with the infield. The tying run will now come to the plate for King Philip with nobody out in the sixth inning. Elise Pereira waiting to take her third at bat. Pereira in a key situation. Both of these dugouts now sensing the potential momentum shift. Here's the first pitch, and it's down low for ball one. Pereira walked in the second inning and was stranded at third base. She then grounded out to third base her last time up. Here's a 1-0 pitch. It's a tapper back towards the circle, but out of the glove of Atherton, and now nowhere to go with a throw for Pierre Gustavo. And the defense getting shaky here as Milford all of a sudden is playing a little bit tight. There should be 2 outs now in this inning. Instead, the bases are loaded with nobody out. That's going to be back-to-back errors, as that ball should have been played by Atherton. She let it skip out of the glove. And Milford hurting themselves here in the sixth. The base is now full of KP runners with Jess Bonner at the plate. She singled her last time up. She's 1 for 2. Swings at the first pitch, lines it down the right field side, but foul. A very tricky situation now for Atherton. With Guerrera, the courtesy runner, at third. Betsy Walsh at second and Elise Pereira at first. And now a line drive out to left field. That's down for a hit. A bobble out in left for Farrell as one run is in. Now here comes the throw to the plate, and the runner is out. It was a courtesy runner, Faith Turnese, who was running for Betsy Walsh. Tried to come around from third base, but gunned down by a good throw from Maggie Farrell. So one run does come in as Guerrera scores. But Turnese, the courtesy runner, thrown out at the plate. That's just the first out of the inning. It'll go as an RBI single for Jess Bonner. It brings the score to 3-1. She takes second base on the throw to the plate. Meanwhile, Elise Pereira going from first to third on the play. So KP with the tying runs in scoring position, as now this ball is grounded to third base. They'll throw to the plate, and the tag applied by Emily Hartman. Good quick decision making for Caitlin DeCapua with the play in front of her. She got to that ball quickly and then fired a strike home to cut down Elise Pereira at the plate. For out number 2, Brooke Toddy reaches on the fielder's choice. And Jess Bonner now advances to third with 2 outs. So 2 runners thrown out at home for King Philip in this inning. It's still a 3-1 score with those runners at the corners, and now Nicole Carter at the plate. A chance for Atherton to get out of it. The pitch is a strike, the throw down to second base, and the runner is out. Brooke Toddy trying to steal second base. She is thrown out, and that is how the inning comes to an end. King Philip runs into all 3 outs in the top of the 6th inning. Unbelievable. A chance to potentially tie this game or take the lead. Instead, a series of base running gaffes will allow Milford to maintain now a 3-1 lead heading into the bottom of the 6th inning. You do not want to turn away from this game now. Stay tuned to coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. What a bizarre top of the 6th inning it was. A pair of errors for Milford opened the door for what could have been a huge King Philip rally, but then King Philip follows suit with 3 base running gaffes in the inning and ultimately only score 1 run in what could have been a big top of the 6th inning, as now Kelly Reichert swings at the first pitch to open up the bottom half of the 6th. She flies out to center field. Errors in the top of the 6th by Pierre Gustavo and Atherton. But all things considered, Milford getting bailed out, as now Maddie Bonvino floats a ball up over the head of Brooke Toddy out in left field, and it'll be extra bases as Bonvino winds up at second base with a 1-out double. The ball really carrying, as now the breeze is starting to blow out towards left. That was a half swing from Bonvino, and the ball kept carrying, ended up over the head of Toddy, and goes as a double. Milford would love to collect some insurance here in the bottom of the 6th. Cormier first pitch swinging. It's a grounder that gets underneath the dive of Gorman at shortstop. Looked initially like she had it, but that scooted just underneath the glove. So a single from Cormier, back-to-back hits now for Milford. And it sets up runners at the corners with 1 down. And a 4th trip through the Milford batting order now as Kate Irwin waits for her 4th plate appearance, looking for her first hit. Jen Hutnian and another jam as Irwin lets that pitch go by, but it goes as a called strike. Milford looking to end a 3-year losing skid against King Philip as Irwin sends a bunt down the first base line. A beauty, nothing that Hutnian could do about it. And meanwhile, in from third base to score comes Bonvino with the 4th Milford run, and RBI for Irwin on the bunt base hit. And that makes it 4-1 in favor of the Lady Hawks. So Milford able to get the run right back. 3 straight hits now. And a big swing and a miss from Pierre Gustavo. It will be hard for Hutnian to pitch around Pierre Gustavo in this situation with runners at first and second. Pierre Gustavo walked in her 3 previous plate appearances. Now watches that pitch float outside to even the count at 1. She's been fortunate to face Pierre Gustavo with the bases empty in each of her previous 3 at-bats. But not the case here with runners at first and second, and now a foul ball to make it a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Emily digging back in on the right side. Here's the pitch, and it's sent on the ground under the glove of Bonner at third base. And a stop sign held up now for Cormier at third. Kate Irwin drifting far beyond the second base bag, but she gets back. And Pierre Gustavo on base for the 4th time, now getting her first hit. And they are loaded up for Jess Tomaso. And the Milford fans now looking for something big off the bat of Tomaso. She is 0 for 2. Does have a walk to her credit this afternoon. That came in the 3rd inning. She also reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. There's the 1-0 pitch, and it's very high. King Philip could not maximize the bases loaded opportunity in the top half of this inning. Milford now with the bases full and 1 out in the bottom half of the 6th. And Tomaso takes a look at ball 3, and now it's gut check time for Hutnian. Nowhere to put Tomaso in a 3-ball, no-strike count. And King Philip will now talk things over amongst the entire infield. The conversation now continues between pitcher and catcher before Lacey heads back behind the plate. 3 balls and no strikes to the thunderous bat of Jess Tomaso. Here is the pitch, and that is a called strike. A borderline pitch, and Tomaso will dig back in. Hutnian working quickly. Here's the 3-1, and it's a grounder to third base. They'll throw to the plate to get the out there. Now a dangerous throw sent down to first base. No chance to get Tomaso, and that one was a high throw on cork to first that could have easily gotten over the head of Pereira. She was able to reel it in. And so another fielder's choice. And now they're going to say that the catcher did not make contact with home plate as the runner came in, so they will count the run. No out on the play. The home plate umpire obviously right there with prime view. So Cormier scores. It'll stay as a fielder's choice play for Tomaso, but she'll get credited with an RBI. So it's still 1 out in the inning with the bases loaded, and now a 5-1 score. With now Irwin at third, Pierre Gustavo at second, and Tomaso at first. The pitch into DeCapua is a called strike. Caitlin drove in a run with a single her last time up. Milford trying to put this game out of reach. Here's the pitch. It's grounded towards third base. They'll throw to first to get the shore out there, but in from third base comes Kate Irwin with the 6th Milford run. And a second RBI for Caitlin DeCapua on the ground out. So now Pierre Gustavo is your lead runner at third base with Tommaso at second, and now 2 down. And now a chance for Maggie Farrell, who takes the first pitch high. A 5-run lead now for Milford. And a 2-ball, no-strike count to Maggie Farrell. She reached on a single her first time up, came around to score the first Milford run. And now sends a high drive out to center field. That sends Phillips back. But the center fielder able to make the catch, and that will retire the side in the 6th inning. But Milford able to grab some insurance runs, so they will carry a 6-1 lead into the top half of the 7th inning, trying to take down one of their prime rivals in the state of Massachusetts. We'll see if they can finish it off when we come back next on coverage of Milford High School softball on Milford TV. The Milford offense pushing 3 insurance runs across the plate for Allie Atherton in the bottom of the 6th inning. Now Allie with 3 outs left to get as she will face batters 8, 9, and 1 for King Philip. Nicole Carter will lead it off. Carter has had good success against Atherton this afternoon, a pair of singles. And she starts off ahead in the count, 1-0. Carter singling in the 2nd inning and leading off the 5th inning with a base hit, then stole second base and was ultimately stranded at third. Here's the 1-0. Outside again. Atherton ready now with her 2-0 pitch, and that is high. So Allie, after a bit of a lengthy wait, as Milford sent 8 batters to the plate in the bottom of the 6th inning, now trying to find her command once again. Trying to avoid a leadoff walk. Here's the 3-0. And that's down and in for ball 4, so Carter works a 4-pitch walk to open the top of the 7th inning. King Philip not going quietly. As we mentioned, King Philip has not lost against a Hockomock League opponent this season, 8-0 within league play. Of course, Milford's only loss on the season came to the Kelly Rex Division Taunton Lady Tigers back on opening day. Each team with winning streaks on the line, an 11-gamer for Milford, 6 games for King Philip, as now first pitch swinging Sydney Phillips pops it over to shortstop, and Pierre Gustavo makes the catch. And that brings the first out of the inning, and also brings us back to the top spot in the Lady Warriors batting order, Megan Gorman, who is 0 for 3. Right-handed batter digging in. She's lined out to left, popped out to first, and grounded out to short. Takes a fastball right on the lower inside part of the plate, and you could hear Atherton putting a little extra behind that fastball. You could hear the grunt from here. Emptying the tank in the 7th inning. Carter, the runner at first base with 1 out. Here's the pitch. And that's in for a called strike 2. Haley McCasland on deck. Atherton taking a little bit of extra time in between pitches. Now here's the 0-2, and Gorman might have swung the pitch down and out of the strike zone. She sent it foul to the backstop. Each pitcher has had a different pace in this game. Hutnian has been much more just the catch and throw type, a very quick pace. Atherton's been a little bit more deliberate. No balls and 2 strikes. The pitch is a liner out towards right field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. It's scooped up by Cormier. But Gorman comes through with her first hit of the game. And that will put runners at first and second with 1 out. And Milford right now, all the more happy they were able to produce those 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. It was a 2-run lead for the Lady Hawks going into that bottom of the 6th inning. Up by 5 here, but 2 on with 1 out for King Philip. And McCaslin now at the plate. She singled back in the first. It's been retired in her subsequent 2 at-bats. Starts off ahead in the count. The Warrior bench unrelenting. Here's the 1-0. And that misses. The lead runner, Nicole Carter, at second base with Gorman at first. And Atherton now with a 2-0 pitch. And that misses for ball 3, missing once again on that, trying to hit that lower outside part of the plate to the lefty batter. And now Atherton in danger of loading up the bases. It's her second 3-ball count of the inning. Here's the pitch. And that's on the outside edge. Atherton trying to come back in this at-bat against McCaslin. Now 3 balls and a strike. Bonvino, the second baseman, and Pierre Gustavo, the shortstop, in tight right behind the circle. Here's the pitch, and it's grounded foul wide of third base. So now that will fill the count. We'll see if the runners elect to get a head start here on the 3-2 pitch. They go as this ball is hit off the glove of DeCapua on the drawn-in infield. Around from third base to score comes Carter, as it will be an RBI double for Haley McCaslin, and that brings the score to 6-2. That ball hit so hard with DeCapua in tight as the infield was pulled in. I don't think they would rule an error in that situation, so we will award McCaslin with the RBI double. That brings Carter around from second base with the second KP run. Gorman goes first to third. So 2 in scoring position, still just 1 out. King Philip needs 1 more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Right now, Jen Hutnian standing in on the right side. And she takes the first pitch low, and right now the command not sharp for Atherton. She was able to get Sydney Phillips to pop out to shortstop, but other than that, she's issued a walk, a single, and now a double. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a tapper underneath the glove of Atherton. It rolls out into center field. 1 run comes in. They do hold McCaslin at third. And maybe King Philip a little bit gun-shy after running into all of those outs in the 6th inning. It looked like McCaslin could have scored there. Instead, they hold her at third on the RBI single for Hutney, and back-to-back RBI hits for the Lady Warriors. And things are getting very dicey for Milford here in the 7th inning. Coach DeVito now once again back out of the dugout. And the Warriors will have an opportunity to bring the tying run to the plate with only one out in the inning. A lengthy conversation now between the head coach, Steve DeVito, and the infield. The outfielders coming together in center field, talking things over amongst themselves. Now Coach DeVito heads back to the dugout. King Philip not giving up in this inning, and now in the position to bring the tying run to the plate. Once again, it is Guerrera serving as a courtesy runner at first base after the RBI base hit from Hutnian. So McCaslin at third, Guerrera at first, one out in the inning. And the tying run at the plate in the person of Betsy Walsh. Walsh is 0 for 3. She reached on an error her last time up and was one of 2 KP runners thrown out at the plate last inning. And she takes the first pitch for a called strike. A hush has fallen over the Milford fans here as they are uneasy with this situation that is unfolding. The pitch low as Guerrera takes off for second base. No throw from Hartman as she monitors the lead runner at third. And so that now leads to a pair of runners in scoring position. A 1-ball, 1-strike pitch, and that is low. Atherton has just not looked comfortable in the 7th inning. After Milford scored 3 times in the 6th to extend the lead, it was a 5-run lead, now down to 3. And a 2-ball, 1-strike pitch on the way, and it bounces in, it ricochets off the backstop, and they will not chance sending McCaslin from third. Guerrera had traveled about halfway down the line between second and third, but had to retreat. And a 3-ball, 1-strike count. And Pierre Gustavo now comes in for a couple of words of encouragement to the starting pitcher. Yet another 3-ball count. 3 balls and 1 strike on the designated player, Betsy Walsh. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a strike. It pops out of the mitt of Hartman, but a called strike 2. Atherton was able to get Walsh on a strikeout back in the first. Allie's only had 3 Ks in the game. She'd love to have one here. Atherton is ready. Here comes the payoff pitch. And just getting a piece was Walsh. Just off the end of the bat, foul. And Walsh will see another pitch coming up. Atherton back on the rubber. Here comes another 3-2 pitch, and it's golfed foul, just foul, outside of third base. DeCapua giving it a look, but the home plate umpire ruling that a foul ball, a good clear foul ball outside of the third base bag. Nothing has come easy for Allie Atherton in the 7th inning. You had to know it was not going to be easy to end this losing skid against King Philip. As we mentioned, Milford has not defeated King Philip since Coach DeVito took over the team back in 2014. Hoping to end that today, King Philip hoping to mount a comeback. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's grounded back to the circle. Atherton freezes the runner at third, now gets the out at first, and they have Guerrera caught off the second base bag. The tag applied, and Guerrera is out to end the game. King Philip, after running into 3 outs in the 6th inning, ends up running into the final out of the afternoon. What a way to end it, as Milford will indeed break that 3-year losing streak to King Philip. They defeat the Lady Warriors here today by a final score of 6-3. Got very interesting in the 7th inning, but Atherton making a good play on that hard ground ball, getting the out at first, and then Guerrero getting caught off the second base bag, gets tagged out in what ends up being, I believe, a 1-3-6 game-ending double play. So Milford keeps their winning streak alive. They extend it now to 12 consecutive games. And King Philip, meanwhile, with the loss, they suffer their first league loss of the season, and they end a 6-game winning streak. So Milford just keeps on rolling. Of course, Milford they already have a playoff spot clinched, but looking to continue to keep up this pace as the second half of the season rolls on. And so their next game will come up on May 8th, a road game against Stoughton. Their next home game will come up on May 9th against Sharon in a makeup game. We hope to have that game covered for you here on Milford TV, so that is when we should be at this softball field next. But in the meantime, a very big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game this afternoon. Our director, Daniel Harlow, our camera operators, Rob O'Keefe, John Giacomuzzi, and also Zach Tomorrow helping out on the broadcast here this afternoon. And I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, 6-3. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks defeat the King Philip Lady Warriors. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics on Milford TV. So long, everybody.